Now we've moved from the notes I showed you earlier to what I've actually taken those notes and cut them apart in little segments the way I said I would in the video. And from this point, putting a paper together, and this is briefly talked about in the Turabian guide, is storyboarding. The way you do storyboarding is that you cut all the pieces apart, and then from here it's like putting a jigsaw puzzle together. So you look at each statement and you think, which one of these statements would go best in the introduction? Well, here's what I like, and so I might categorize, well, here's 4 that would go good in the introduction, and I think this one would go best first. And so that goes first in the introduction. This is a good way, I like to handle things. This is a good way to put your hands on it, see it all in one spot. It's very important when you do this that small children and pets are put away, because most of the time when I do this, I have to do it on the floor because I don't have a table big enough. I've organized papers like this with up to 130 references. The problem with having that many references is you can't remember what you've read when you've read that much, and this is a way to organize it. Another good thing about this method is that you may find, as you lay everything out, there are actually 3 statements that say the same thing. In that case, you can compress all those into one sentence that expresses the point of those 3 sources, and then include a complex footnote at the bottom. The good thing about that is it shows your professor you're well read, and for you it's good because the footnote will take up more space at the end of the page, so you don't have to write as much. Here's an actual example of a storyboard paper I put together. I think this one had 110 references, and you see the way I put it together in the notebook here. This is what I actually turned in class. I would recommend using an Avery removable glue stick. You can get them online, or if you have an art supply store in your town, it's great to use those, because if you put a segment somewhere and decide you want to move it, it's just like a post-it note. You can move anywhere you want to in the storyboard. So that's a good way to visualize your paper and organize it. Thanks.